On New Year's Day, my husband abruptly requested a divorce. I smiled and said yes without a second thought, even surrendering custody of our two children because I knew he was about to lose more than just a wife. Can you imagine the man you built a life with, the father of your children, coldly asking for a divorce, expecting you to crumble, only for you to calmly say yes, because you've been secretly waiting for this moment for 3 years, meticulously planning his downfall? It was December 28th, a quiet night as the holidays wound down. I remember the rich, comforting scent of Michael's favorite beef stew simmering in the kitchen. Our two kids, Leo and Mia, were giggling in the living room, their innocent laughter echoing through the crack in the door. Normal. Everything felt perfectly, sickeningly normal. Then, Michael, my husband of 12 years, walked in. He pushed a divorce agreement across the table, his expression as flat and calm as if he were asking what we needed from the grocery store. "Kate, let's get a divorce. I'll take the 2 kids. The house is yours, and I'll give you another $100,000 in compensation." The words flowed out of him so smoothly, so rehearsed, I knew he'd practiced them countless times. He truly believed he was blindsiding me. But he wasn't. I picked up the pen. My hand didn't tremble. I signed my name, Kate, without even glancing at the specifics. "Fine," I said, my voice steady, betraying none of the storm brewing inside. "All I want is my freedom." Michael was stunned. All the carefully prepared persuasions, explanations, and reassurances he'd stockpiled? Useless. He'd never know. He would never know that I had been waiting for him to say those exact words for 3 long, agonizing years. It started subtly, like a quiet hum beneath the surface of our lives. That very night, after Michael had dropped his bombshell, I still brought out dinner. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, sautéed green beans with garlic, all his and the kids' favorites. The clock on the wall read exactly 7 p.m. "Dinner's ready." I called out to the living room. Leo, our 8-year-old, and Mia, 6, raced to the table, scrambling into their seats. Michael slowly emerged from his home office, phone still in hand, his brow furrowed, eyes glued to the screen. "Did you wash your hands?" I asked the kids. "Yes," they chorused. He sat at the head of the table, placing the phone beside him. I served him a piece of chicken, then the children. 12 years. It was muscle memory. "Dad, are we going to Grandpa and Grandma's for New Year's?" Leo asked, mouthful. "Yes, we'll go over on New Year's Day," Michael said, taking a bite. "Did Mom buy you new outfits?" "Yes," Mia chimed in. "Mom bought me a sparkly red dress. It's so pretty." I smiled at my daughter, a real smile this time. "Wear it to Grandpa and Grandma's. They'll definitely love it." The dinner table atmosphere was harmonious. Michael asked about school, I reported on holiday shopping, the kids chattered. This was my life. Married for 12 years, a stay-at-home mom for 8. My world revolved around him, them, and this house. Up at 6 a.m., breakfast, school drop-off, groceries, cooking, cleaning, school pickup, homework, dinner, bedtime. A repetitive, endless cycle. After dinner, Michael retreated to his office, as usual, citing work. I cleared the dishes. The kids helped wipe the table, leaving their usual streaks, a habit I insisted on cultivating. The dishwasher hummed. I wiped counters mechanically, my gaze drifting to the thousands of lights in the high-rises across the way. Behind each one, a family. A story. Some happy, some not. Most, like mine, were neither good nor bad. Just getting by. "Mom, can I watch a show for a little while?" Mia asked, her small face looking up. "Have you finished your reading homework?" "Yes." Leo helped me with the hard words. I dried my hands. "Half an hour. Bath and bed by 9 o'clock. "Okay." Mia darted off, delighted. I finished the kitchen, then went to the laundry room. December wind howled, bitterly cold. The towels hung outside, were stiff. I brought them in, warm and smelling of crisp air. Michael's dress shirts, the children's fleece jackets, my yoga pants. All mixed together like this family. Seemingly integrated on the surface, but each with its own texture, its own purpose. At 9 o'clock, I nudged the children into the bath. Leo was independent, but Mia still needed help. The bathroom filled with steam, her small body soft and warm as I carefully lathered her with soap. "Mom, why is Dad always in his office?" Mia asked suddenly. "Chloe's dad doesn't work at home." Chloe said her dad plays Legos with her after work. My hands paused. Just for a moment. "Every dad's work is different," I said. Mia seemed to half understand, quickly distracted by the bubbles. After blow-drying their hair, reading a bedtime story, and tucking them in, it was almost 10 o'clock. I gently closed their door, standing in the hallway, taking a deep breath. This was my time. A few short hours, usually spent tidying or prepping for tomorrow. Michael was still in his office, light spilling from under the door. I could faintly hear him on the phone. His tone was gentle, a hint of a smile in his voice. Not the perfunctory smile he usually saved for me and the kids, but a genuinely happy one. I stood there for a few seconds. I didn't knock. I never did. I went into the master bedroom. From the bottom drawer of the nightstand, I pulled out a journal. Black moleskine, worn at the edges. A wedding gift from Michael. "Katie," he'd said then, "write down whatever is on your mind. When we're old, we can look back. It'll be very interesting." I opened it. It was filled with densely written words, but no sweet nothings. Instead, records of accounts, plans, and clear-headed self-doubts. The latest entry, December 19th, 2025. 3 months left until goal. Persevere. I picked up a pen and added a line. "Everything normal today." He took 2 calls tonight, avoiding me both times. Mia asked why Dad doesn't play with her. I was at a loss for words. I put the journal back, covered it with books, then washed up, changed into pajamas, and lay down. Our wedding photo still hung above the headboard. 24, with a brilliant smile, eyes full of light. Michael, arm around me, looking blissful. 12 years had passed. The photo had faded. Just like our love. I turned off the lamp. Lay in the dark, eyes open. I heard the office door open, Michael's footsteps, him going to the guest bathroom. We'd been sleeping in separate rooms for 3 years. His excuse? He worked late, didn't want to wake me. The guest room door closed gently. I turned over, closing my eyes. I didn't need to check his phone to know he was texting some woman. Jessica, probably. Or someone else entirely. 3 years ago, I'd found the ambiguous texts. The unfamiliar perfume on his shirt. The sudden increase in late nights at the office, on weekends. I confronted him. He explained it away. Colleague, work requirement, I was overthinking it. I chose to believe him. Or rather, I chose to pretend to believe him. I had no job. No income. No way out. Our children were so small. I couldn't let them lose their complete family. But someone pretending to be asleep eventually wakes up. A year ago, I began to change. Quietly. I enrolled in an online accounting certification program, studying every night after everyone was asleep. I reconnected with old college friends, subtly inquiring about job opportunities. I even started running on the treadmill, shedding the baby weight I'd never quite lost. These changes were small. Michael didn't notice. In his eyes, I was still the meek, obedient housewife who couldn't do anything but care for the children and the house. And that was exactly what I wanted. The wind outside grew louder. Snow forecast for tonight. I thought about the gifts for the in-laws, the New Year's brunch, the kids' gift cards. As I planned, I drifted off to sleep. The next day, December 29th, up at 6 a.m., making breakfast. Michael, for once, was already up, sitting at the dining table, phone in hand, looking absent-minded. "I've got all the gifts for your parents' house ready," I said, placing scrambled eggs in front of him. "A nice bottle of scotch for your dad, a cashmere scarf for your mom. Gift cards for the kids." Okay, he mumbled, not looking up. "Did you sleep well last night?" I asked, pouring orange juice. It was okay. He finally looked up, eyes complicated. "Kate, tonight, after the kids are asleep, let's talk." My hand paused, just for a beat. "Talk about what?" "We'll talk then." He stood, finished breakfast quickly, put on his coat, and left. I stood by the window, watching his car disappear into the morning mist. I had a feeling. What was coming was finally coming. Sure enough, that night, after the kids were asleep, Michael knocked on the master bedroom door. He held a folder, his expression deliberately serious. "Sit," he said, pointing to the armchair by the window. I sat, hands on my knees, adopting the submissive, listening posture I'd perfected over years. The one that always put Michael at ease. "Kate, we've been married for 12 years, he began, his tone heavy. You've worked hard all these years, taking care of the kids and the household. I know all that." I didn't speak, letting him continue. He took a deep breath. "But I feel our marriage has problems. We have nothing in common to talk about anymore. Every day, besides the kids and the house, we hardly say a word. A marriage like this is torture for both of us." I lowered my eyes. So, he handed me the folder. "This is a divorce agreement I had drawn up. Take a look. The terms are very generous. The house is yours, and I'll give you another $100,000 in compensation. I'll take the 2 kids. After all, I have a stable job and income, and I can give them a better life and education." I took the folder. Didn't open it. I knew this day would come. I just hadn't expected it to be days before New Year's. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice calm, almost conversational. Michael was taken aback. "Woman? The woman who made you decide to divorce." I raised my head, looking straight at him. "Jessica? Or someone else I don't know about?" His face changed, a flicker of panic. "That's not important. The important thing is that we have no feelings for each other anymore. Continuing together will only torture each other. Kate, you're still young. With the money and the house, you can start a new life." Such familiar lines. I could almost recite them. On TV, in movies, in real life, when men want a divorce, they always use the script, "For your own good, to set you free, to start a new life." "Do the kids know?" I asked. "Not yet. I wanted to talk to you first, and then tell them slowly." His tone softened. "Kate, I know this is hard for you, but it's better to make a clean break. We should both pursue true happiness." I opened the agreement. Scanned it. The terms were generous, financially. House worth about $500,000, plus $100,000 cash. For a stay-at-home mom who hadn't worked in 12 years, it was more than generous. Custody of the children went to Michael, with visitation rights twice a month and summer stays. Alimony was a one-time payment. No further entanglement. Clean. Neat. Very Michael. "Do your parents know?" I asked. "I'll explain to them," Michael said. "Don't worry. I won't say anything bad about you. I'll just say we grew apart and separated amicably." I nodded, picked up the pen from the nightstand. Michael clearly hadn't expected me to be so agreeable. The persuasive words he'd prepared were stuck in his throat. "Aren't you going to think about it?" he asked. "Think about what?" I looked at him. "Think about how to win back a man who no longer loves me? Think about how to maintain a marriage that is already dead." Michael was speechless. I signed my name, my handwriting neat and clear. "Michael, I have only one request," I said. "Through the New Year's holiday, we'll still act as usual in front of the kids. After the holidays, we'll tell them and go through the procedures. I don't want their holiday to be unhappy." Michael was visibly relieved. Of course. That's what I was thinking, too. "Also," I added, "during this period, please continue to live at home. We can sleep in separate rooms, but don't act abnormally in front of the children." "Okay, I promise." I handed the signed agreement back. "Then that's it. You should get some rest. We still have to go to your parents' house on New Year's Day." Michael stood there, agreement in hand, as if he wanted to say something else. But I had already turned, straightening the duvet, a subtle but firm gesture of dismissal. He said nothing. He left. After the door closed, I stood still for a long time. Then I walked to the closet, opened the bottom drawer, and took out the black journal. I turned to a new page. December 29th, 2025. He proposed a divorce. I signed. The plan is in motion. The countdown begins. After writing, I put the journal back, turned off the light, and got into bed. In the darkness, the corners of my mouth turned up, just slightly. For 3 years, this was the day I had been waiting for. December 31st, New Year's Eve. I was bustling about early, putting up decorations, chilling champagne, prepping ingredients. As agreed, Michael was more attentive than usual. While helping hang fairy lights, he even initiated conversation. The left side is a little crooked, a little higher. I directed him. Our hands brushed. He recoiled as if electrocuted. I, on the other hand, remained perfectly natural. Okay, that's good. The children were playing a board game, their laughter crisp. The lively sounds of neighbors' celebrations drifted over. The entire neighborhood buzzed with festivity. Mom, Grandma's on the phone. Mia ran over, holding it out. I took it. Mom, Happy New Year's Eve. We'll be over tomorrow afternoon. Yes, we're having dinner at my place tonight. You guys just come over, okay? Drive safe. Hanging up, I glanced at Michael. He was looking at his phone, brows furrowed, fingers flying. No guessing what he was doing, explaining to that woman why he couldn't spend New Year's with her. I turned back to the kitchen, resuming ingredient prep. The knife rose and fell on the cutting board, a rhythmic sound. In my mind, I silently took stock. Accounting certification exam in a month. Resumes sent to 3 companies. I'd saved $15,000 in a secret account, little by little, from household expenses over the years. Not enough, but far better than 3 years ago. 3 years ago, all I could do was cry and beg. At noon, my in-laws arrived. Michael's father, a retired history professor. His mother, a homemaker. A traditional family. They were quite satisfied with me, mainly because I managed the household well and had given them a grandson and granddaughter. Catherine, you've worked so hard making all this food, my mother-in-law said politely, her eyes critically scanning every corner of the living room. It's my pleasure, I said with a smile, pouring coffee. Dad, Mom, have some coffee. Where's Michael? My father-in-law asked. He's in his office, dealing with work. He'll be out in a minute, I replied. As if on cue, Michael emerged, putting on his gentle, filial mask. Dad, Mom, you're here. Was the traffic bad? The family sat in the living room, chatting about school, work, relatives. I served drinks and snacks, interjecting a few words, playing the perfect daughter-in-law. I noticed my mother-in-law's new bracelet. Very nice. Mom, that bracelet is beautiful. Is it new? A smug smile. Michael bought it. He said it's from Tiffany's. Michael quickly chimed in. I saw it on a business trip and thought it would suit Mom, so I bought it. I smiled, nodded. In my heart, I calculated. At least a few thousand. He'd never bought me such expensive jewelry. Last birthday, a sweater from Kohl's, on sale online. I said nothing, continued peeling apples and arranging the fruit platter. New Year's Eve dinner was sumptuous. Prime rib, scalloped potatoes, roasted asparagus, a large salad. Michael opened red wine, poured a little for everyone. Here's to a happy new year for our whole family. Good health and all the best. He raised his glass. Everyone clinked glasses, cheers. I looked at the scene, feeling a sudden absurdity. This family was clearly falling apart. Just 2 days ago, this man had handed me a divorce agreement. Now, we were together for a reunion dinner. But I smiled naturally, serving my in-laws, cutting food for the children, topping off Michael's wine glass. My acting was superb. Flawless. After dinner, Michael played chess with his father. His mother-in-law watched the New Year's Eve specials. I cleaned the kitchen. The dishwasher's hum masked the laughter from the living room. Alone at the sink, I wiped counters. Mom, I'll help you. Mia ran in. No need, go watch TV with Grandma. I patted her head. I want to stay with Mom. Mia leaned against the counter. Mom, you made so much food today. Are you tired? Not tired, I said. As long as you're happy, Mom is not tired. Half true. I was tired. But I hadn't known true happiness for a long time. After cleaning the kitchen, I cut fruit and brought it out. My mother-in-law was talking about her niece. She's divorced and has a child. It's so hard. I tell you, women shouldn't get divorced easily. It's always the woman who suffers. It was a barb, clearly aimed at me. In her traditional view, a divorced woman was a failure, especially a housewife with no job. You're right, Mom, I agreed. So, women should have their own careers and not rely entirely on men. My mother-in-law was taken aback, not expecting that. Michael glanced at me, his expression complicated. Catherine has a point, my father-in-law interjected. But taking care of the family is also an important job. I smiled. Said no more. I glanced at the clock. Almost 11:30. Time for the countdown. I'll get the champagne ready. I stood up. I'll help you. Michael also stood, following me into the kitchen. The door closed. Only the two of us in the small space. What Mom said just now, don't take it to heart, Michael said in a low voice. I won't, I said, getting out glasses. She's right. It's not easy for a divorced woman. Michael was silent. Kate, I know. I'm sorry, but feelings can't be forced. I understand. I arranged glasses on a tray. You don't have to explain. I understand everything. My calmness made Michael uneasy. The crying, nagging, bargaining he'd expected never came. I was calm, as if I'd been prepared for this all along. After the holidays, I'll go through the procedures as soon as possible, he said. I won't give you less money or the house. Okay, I said. You go be with your parents. I can handle it here. Michael stood for a few seconds, then finally left. I watched his retreating back, a cold smile on my lips. He thought I was submissive. In fact, I was surrendering. At midnight, cheers and fireworks erupted. On TV, the ball dropped in Times Square. The children ran to the window, excited. My in-laws exchanged hugs. Michael took out envelopes. Leo, Mia, come get your New Year's gift. The children ran over, saying, Thank you, Dad. Happy New Year. And here's yours, Catherine. Michael handed me an envelope. I took it. Average thickness. Probably a check for a few hundred, like every year. Thank you. Open it, Michael said. I did. Inside, a check for $50,000 and a small card that read, For all you do. I understood. This was hush money. Compensation for his conscience. The price for me to divorce peacefully, without causing trouble. Thank you. It's too much. I handed it back. Keep it. Michael held my hand. You've had a hard time all these years. His hand was warm, but I felt only cold. I withdrew my hand, putting the check in my pocket. Then, thank you. This gesture completely reassured Michael. He thought that by accepting the money, I had accepted all the terms. He would never know that what I wanted was far, far more than this. At 2 a.m., after seeing off my in-laws and tucking in the children, the house was finally quiet. Michael finished washing up, hesitated. I'll still sleep in the guest room. Good night, I said. I went back to the master bedroom, but didn't sleep. From the depths of the closet, I took out a small fireproof box. Inside were various documents, my social security card, college diploma, professional certifications, and a few passbooks and bank cards. All secretly prepared over the years. The diploma and certifications were my confidence. The bank accounts, my way out. At the bottom was an employment contract, signed last week. An accountant position at a mid-sized firm, annual salary of $65,000. I would start after the holidays. The company valued my 10 years of prior experience and my new certifications. $65,000 a year might be what Michael spent on business trips, but for me, it was the starting point of a new life. I put everything back, then checked my phone. Messages from my study group. I'd scored at the top of my class in the certification exam. The instructor sent a private message, asking if I was interested in pursuing a higher-level CPA license. I replied, Thank you. I will consider it. Turning off my phone, I lay down. The fireworks outside were sparse now, a few sporadic pops, like the final echo of this marriage. I closed my eyes. Scenes from the past 3 years flashed, the shock and pain of discovering Michael's infidelity, the despair of enduring it, the calmness of making a plan, the determination of implementing it step by step. The most difficult moments had passed. Now, I just needed to follow the plan, take the last few steps. New Year's Day. Michael didn't come home until 10 p.m., smelling faintly of alcohol and perfume. I was reading in the living room. Without looking up, I asked, Have you eaten? Yes, he said, a little guilty. Client dinner. Couldn't get out of it. I turned a page. The children are already asleep. Keep your voice down. Michael stood in the middle of the living room, looking at my calm profile. Suddenly, he felt an indescribable sense of unease. This unease had started when I readily signed the divorce agreement and had only grown stronger. None of the reactions he expected had occurred. No crying, no questioning, no bargaining. I was as calm as if I'd known this day would come, even as if I'd been waiting for it. "Kate," he began. "Let's talk." I closed my book, looked at him. "Talk about what again?" "The divorce agreement is already signed. What else is there to talk about?" "You." Michael chose his words carefully. "Can you really accept it?" "I mean, the divorce and the children going with me." "What can I do if I can't accept it?" I retorted. "Cry and beg you to come back? Would that work?" Michael was at a loss for words. "Michael, we've been married for 12 years. I know you." I stood up, walked over to him. "You won't change your mind about something you've decided. Since that's the case, why shouldn't I be more dignified and save myself some pride?" What I said was logical, but Michael still felt something was wrong. The Kate in front of him was too calm, too rational. Not at all like the gentle, even somewhat weak wife he knew. "As for the children, as we agreed, we'll tell them after the holidays are over," I interrupted him. "During this period, I hope you will cooperate. At least in front of the children, we should still appear harmonious." "I will," Michael promised. I nodded, turned, and walked toward the bedroom. After a few steps, I turned back. "By the way, as for your parents, you explain it to them yourself. I don't want to hear any gossip about me from them." "I won't. I'll handle it." I closed the bedroom door. Michael stood in the living room, unmoving for a long time. He took out his phone, wanting to call Jessica, but after thinking, he put it down. For some reason, he didn't want to make that call in my house. In the guest room, Michael tossed and turned. He recalled my changes in recent months: makeup, dressing up, online courses, dinner with friends. At the time, he thought it was a good thing. It meant I had my own life, wouldn't be too dependent. Now, he wondered if it was premeditated. But he quickly dismissed the idea. Asterisk, how could Kate have premeditated a divorce? She was a housewife. How could she live without him? Asterisk, he must be overthinking it. The next day, it was customary to visit my own parents. I took the children. Michael used the excuse of having to work and didn't come. This was exactly what I wanted. I needed time alone with my parents. They lived in the old part of town, their house not big, but spotless. My father was a retired factory accountant, my mother an elementary school teacher. Honest, downtrodden people. "Why are you alone?" "Where's Michael?" my mother asked. "He has something to do at the office and can't come." I put down the gifts. "Dad, Mom, I have something to tell you." Seeing my serious expression, they exchanged a look. A bad feeling. I had the children go to the den to play, then closed the living room door. "What's wrong?" "What happened?" my mother asked anxiously. "Michael wants a divorce," I said calmly. "I've already signed." The living room fell silent. My father's coffee cup almost slipped. My mother's face went pale. "What divorce? Why? Is he seeing someone else?" "Yes," I said. "It started 3 years ago. I just never said anything." "How is that possible?" My mother couldn't believe it. "Michael seems so decent." "Mom, people change." I held her hand. "Don't get excited. Let me finish." I told them everything. My endurance for 3 years, discovering his infidelity, signing the agreement. But I concealed my own preparations, only saying I was forced to accept it. "That bastard!" My father trembled with anger. "I'll go give him a piece of my mind." "Dad, don't go," I held him back. "It's useless. His heart is no longer in this family. Forcing him to stay is meaningless." "Then what about you? What about the children?" my mother said, tears streaming. "You haven't worked for so many years. How will you live after the divorce?" "I have a plan," I said. "The house is mine, and he'll give me $100,000. I can start work after the holidays." I found a job, an accounting position, paying $65,000 a year. My parents were stunned. They hadn't expected their daughter to have a plan already. "You found a job?" my father asked. "Yes, I signed the contract before Christmas." I start next week. I smiled. Dad, I've put all the accounting knowledge you taught me to use. My father's eyes welled up. When I was young, he'd wanted me to study accounting, thinking it stable. After I married and became a housewife, he'd always regretted it. Good, good, he nodded repeatedly. It's good that you have a job. With a job, you'll be okay. But the children are with him, I said in a low voice. I've given up custody. What? My mother grew agitated again. How can you give up the children? They are your flesh and blood. Mom, what can I do if I don't give them up? I smiled bitterly. I have no job, no income. Will the judge award the children to me? It's better to be proactive and fight for better terms than to be forced to give them up in the end. I paused. And I'm only giving them up temporarily. When I get back on my feet, have a stable income and a place to live, I'll fight for custody again. The law allows for a change in custody. My parents were silent. They knew I was right, but it was hard to accept emotionally. You've been wronged, child, my father patted my shoulder. It's all my fault for not being capable enough to support you. Dad, don't say that. I shook my head. This is my own choice. I'll bear the consequences myself. All I need is your support. Don't go and make a scene with Michael. Don't give him any leverage. My parents finally agreed. They felt sorry for me, but knew making a scene wouldn't help. Society is unfair to divorced women, let alone a housewife with no job. At lunch, the children were very happy, unaware of our heavy conversation. I served my parents, peeled shrimp for the kids, acting as usual. Only my mother occasionally wiped away a tear, which I stopped with a look. After lunch, I took the children to a nearby park. Cold in winter, but sunny. They ran on the grass. I sat on a bench, watching. Mom, are you unhappy? Mia ran over, hugging my legs. No, Mom is very happy. I patted her face. But you're not smiling, Mia pouted. I forced a smile. How about this? It's fake. Mia pouted. Mom, did you and Dad have a fight? Children's sensitivity is beyond adult imagination. My heart tightened, but I remained calm. No, Mom and Dad are fine. It's just that Mom is a little tired lately. Then Mom should rest more. Mia hugged me. When I grow up, I'll help Mom with the housework and Mom won't be tired anymore. My tears almost fell. I hugged her tightly, smelling her sweet scent. This little life, carried for 9 months. How could I bear to give her up? But I had to. A temporary separation was for a longer-term reunion. Mia, promise Mom one thing, I said. What is it? No matter what happens in the future, you have to remember that Mom will always love you. And your brother. I looked into her eyes. Always and forever. Mia seemed to understand, nodding. I will always love Mom, too. I kissed her forehead, my heart filling with strength. For my children, I had to be strong. I had to succeed. On the way home, I received a message from my attorney. Some evidence has been collected, including hotel records and credit card statements. More direct evidence is needed. I replied, continue. Everything must be in place by the end of the week. The city lights flew by. I looked at this city, where I'd lived for 12 years, suddenly feeling it strange. But being a stranger was good. It meant I could start over. From January 3rd to the 7th, life went on as usual. Michael still left early, returned late. I still played the virtuous wife and loving mother. But Michael felt more and more that something was wrong. I was too calm. So calm it was unsettling. On the night of the 8th, Michael finally couldn't take it anymore. He knocked on the master bedroom door after the children were asleep. Kate, let's talk. I was reading. I took off my glasses. Talk about what again? You, Michael hesitated. What are your plans for the future? I mean, after the divorce. Find a job and start over, I said. Otherwise, wait to go broke. I don't mean that, Michael walked in, sat on the edge of the bed. I mean, if you need help, like finding a job or no need, I interrupted him. I can take care of myself. Michael looked at me. He realized I had changed. Not my appearance, but my eyes. In the past, they were gentle, even a little timid. Now, they were sharp and determined. Kate, do you hate me? He asked. Hate? I laughed, a short, humorless sound. Hate is too tiring. Michael, I don't hate you. I'm just disappointed in you. And even more disappointed in myself for being so blind for so many years. Those words were more hurtful than hate. Michael's face changed slightly. I know. I'm sorry. No need to explain, I said. We've already signed the agreement. We'll soon have no legal relationship. We've had no emotional relationship for a long time. So, there's really no need to explain. The distance in my tone made Michael very uncomfortable. He stood up. Then, you should get some rest. At the door, he turned back. Kate, no matter what, I hope you're well. I will be, I said. Definitely. The door closed. I picked up my phone, sent a message to my attorney. He's getting suspicious. Speed up the process. Also, check his recent large transfers, especially to that woman. Soon, the attorney replied, I'm on it. By the way, the change in his company's shareholding that you asked me to check has a lead. 6 months ago, he transferred 10% of his shares to a shell company. The legal representative of that company is Jessica's younger brother. My eyes narrowed. Michael had not only cheated, he was also hiding marital assets. This required an adjustment to my previous plan. $100,000 and a house were far from enough. I replied, collect all the evidence, including the share transfer documents, bank statements, and communication records. I'll need them by this weekend. Putting down my phone, I walked to the window. The night was dark, with a few scattered lights on the tall buildings. I remembered that night 3 years ago, when I first discovered his infidelity and cried all night in the bathroom. Then I felt like my world was collapsing. But now, standing here, I felt only calm and determined. People are forced to grow. Gentleness is because there is someone to rely on. Strength is because there is no other choice. I had no other choice. So I had to be strong. Friday, January 10th. I prepared a large table of dishes as usual. Michael came home on time. At dinner, he announced, let's go out to eat as a family tomorrow night. I've booked a nice restaurant. Okay, the children cheered. I glanced at him. Why, the sudden desire to eat out? It's the weekend, and it'll be nice to do something special, Michael said. And we might not have the chance in the future. His words were meaningful. I understood. He wanted to play the role of a harmonious family one last time before the divorce. Perhaps for his own conscience, or to leave a good memory for the children. Okay, I agreed. I also had my own plans. After tomorrow, everything would change. Let tonight be the last supper of this family. That night, after the children were asleep, Michael knocked on the master bedroom door again. Still up. I want to talk to the children after dinner tomorrow night, Michael said. It's time to tell them about the divorce. I nodded. Okay, but I want to be there. Of course, Michael said. Kate, thank you. Thank you for your cooperation during this time. No need to thank me, I said. I'm also doing it for the children. Michael stood at the door, hesitating. In the end, he only said, get some rest. Good night. Good night. I closed the door and leaned against it. Tomorrow, everything would end. And everything would also begin. I took out the black journal, turned to the last page. January 10th, 2026. Ready. New life tomorrow. I closed the journal, put it in my purse. This journal, which had recorded my mental journey for 3 years, was my most private witness. After tomorrow, it would become the past. The next evening, I began to prepare for the negotiation. I changed into a new, sharp pantsuit, put on light makeup, and tied my hair into a neat ponytail. The person in the mirror didn't look like a stay-at-home mom at all. More like a corporate executive. Michael was stunned when he saw me. Wow, where are you going dressed like that? Can't I? I retorted. No, I just think it's a bit formal for dinner, Michael said. Today is an important day. It's good to be formal, I said meaningfully. Michael thought I was referring to the showdown with the children. He didn't ask any more questions. He didn't know the important. I was talking about had a completely different meaning. At 6 p.m., we set off. Michael had booked a high-end steakhouse, a private room, perfect for talking. The children were so excited, rarely visiting such an expensive restaurant. When ordering, Michael was generous, choosing their favorites. He ordered a bottle of Cabernet for himself, poured a glass for me. It's a special occasion. Have a little, he said. I didn't refuse. I needed a little alcohol to calm my nerves, though I was already well prepared. Halfway through the meal, Michael put down his fork, cleared his throat. Leo, Mia, Dad has something to tell you. The children looked up. Dad and Mom. Michael glanced at me. We've decided to separate. From now on, Dad and Mom won't live together anymore. The private room went completely silent. Leo was the first to react. Are you getting a divorce? This word, from an 8-year-old's mouth, had a surreal absurdity. My heart ached, but I remained calm. Yes, Michael said with difficulty. But don't worry, Dad and Mom still love you. We just won't live together anymore. Why? Mia asked, tears welling up. Because Michael didn't know how to explain. Because your father has fallen in love with someone else, I calmly took over. He has a new family outside, so he doesn't want us anymore. My words were a bomb. Michael's face turned pale. Kate, what the hell are you talking about? I took a manila folder from my purse and pushed it in front of him. These are your hotel records with Jessica, starting 3 years ago. A total of 47 times. Do you need me to read them to the children? Michael's face turned white instantly. He grabbed the documents, his hands trembling. You investigated me? Of course. I took out another document. These are your credit card statements. Last year alone, you spent over $50,000 on gifts for her. And this, I tapped the final document, is the proof that you fraudulently transferred company shares to her younger brother 6 months ago. With every sentence, Michael's face grew a shade paler. The children looked at us, utterly confused, but they felt the terrifying atmosphere. Kate, let's go outside and talk. Michael stood up, his voice trembling. Why go outside? I sat still. The children have the right to know the truth. Michael, you wanted a divorce. Fine, I agree. But not according to your agreement. I took out another document from my purse. This is my divorce agreement. The house is mine. The full value of the shares you fraudulently transferred, estimated at $1.2 million, is mine. In addition, you will pay $200,000 in damages for emotional distress, and full custody of the children is mine. You're crazy, Michael hissed. On what grounds? On these grounds. I pointed to the evidence spread on the table. On the grounds of your infidelity. On the grounds of your fraudulent transfer of marital assets. On the grounds of your attempt to deceive me and your children. Michael, if this evidence is submitted to the court, how do you think the judge will rule? How will your investors react? Michael collapsed back into his chair, sweat beading on his forehead. For the first time, he realized he didn't know Kate at all. This seemingly gentle, weak woman had secretly collected so much evidence, laid such a big trap. You knew all along? His voice was hoarse. I knew 3 years ago, I said. I didn't expose you then because I had no job, no income, and no ability to raise the children alone. But now I do. I looked at the children. Leo, Mia, Mom has to tell you. Dad made a mistake, and he won't be living with us. But Mom wants you. Mom will work hard to give you a good life. Are you willing to live with Mom? The 2 children were already in tears. Mia threw herself into my arms. I want Mommy. I want Mommy. Leo also walked over, hugging my arm. I also want Mommy. I hugged them, my own tears finally flowing. But these weren't tears of weakness. These were tears of release. Tears of victory. Michael watched, suddenly feeling like an outsider. This family he'd lived in for 12 years. These people he thought would always belong to him had all left him in an instant. Kate, we can talk about the terms, he tried to salvage. There's nothing to talk about. I wiped my tears. Sign this agreement. If you don't, we'll see you in court. At that time, not only will this evidence be made public, but your company's shareholders and clients will also know. Think it over. Michael knew I meant what I said. If this evidence was exposed, his career would be over. The company was trying to secure a new round of funding. If a scandal broke out now, everything would be ruined. He picked up the pen, his hand trembling so much he could barely hold it. The moment he signed, he felt his world collapse. I put away the agreement and took out another document. This is a supplementary agreement. You will pay $3,000 a month in child support for the two children until they graduate from college. In addition, you can visit them once a week, but you must make an appointment in advance and get my consent. Michael sighed numbly. All he wanted was to get out of this suffocating place. Okay, you can go now, I said. The children are coming home with me tonight. I'll take them to school on Monday. Michael stood up, looking at the children. Mia hid in my arms, wouldn't even look at him. Leo looked at him, eyes filled with disappointment and anger. Leo, Mia, Dad. He wanted to say something, but couldn't. Let's go, I interrupted him. Don't make the children more upset. Michael took one last look, then turned and left. The moment the private room door closed, I hugged the children tightly and burst into tears. This time, it was a complete release. The next morning, I woke earlier than usual. I made pancakes. The children's eyes were a little swollen, but they were in good spirits. Mom, are we moving today? Leo asked. Soon, I said. We'll stay here for a little while. We'll move when Mom finds a new house. But from today on, Dad won't live with us anymore. Mia lowered her head. I miss Dad. I squatted, hugged her. I know, sweetie. When you miss Dad, you can call him or go see him on the weekend. But from now on, Mom will be the one mainly taking care of you. Okay. Mia nodded. Mom, will you always be with us? Of course. I kissed her. Mom will always be with you. After dropping the children at a friend's house for a play date, I went to my attorney's office. Sarah had the documents ready. The divorce agreement has been notarized. This is a copy. She handed it to me. The custody change procedures are also being processed. It should be done in about a week. Michael is very cooperative. It seems he was scared by your evidence. He wasn't scared, I said, signing. He just made the most favorable choice after weighing the pros and cons. If it went to court, he would lose more. Sarah looked at me with admiration. Kate, you're the calmest client I've ever seen. Many women would just cry and make a scene. Because crying and making a scene is useless, I said. This world only sympathizes with the weak, but it only respects the strong. I don't want to be pitied. I want to be respected. After signing, I went to see an apartment. A complex not far from the children's school. A 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 900 square feet. Not big, but clean and bright, south-facing balcony, plenty of sunlight. This is the one I decided on the spot. I'll come and sign the lease tomorrow. The agent was surprised by my decisiveness, but I had my considerations. I needed to move out of that house, full of memories, as soon as possible and start fresh. Money wasn't a problem. The settlement was enough for a down payment on a condo, but for now, renting was faster, easier. On Monday, I reported for duty at my new company. My colleagues were friendly. My boss, a woman in her 40s, appreciated my competence. I heard you were a stay-at-home mom before, she asked. Yes, I said. But I've been studying and haven't fallen behind in my profession. I handed over my certificates and transcripts. The boss nodded. Good. Our company needs someone like you, with experience and ambition. Work hard, and you'll have a bright future. I was assigned to the finance department. The work wasn't difficult, but I was serious. At lunch, my colleagues talked about their families. I said frankly, I'm newly divorced and have 2 children. They didn't show any strange expressions. On the contrary, they admired my courage. A young female colleague said, Kate, you're amazing. If I got a divorce, I wouldn't know how to live. You learn because you have to, I smiled. But if I could choose, I would still hope for a happy marriage. That was the truth. Although I was doing well, who wouldn't want a complete family? But some things can't be forced. So you accept it and move on. The following weekend, Michael came, on time, to help us move. He looked haggard, but didn't say much, silently moving boxes. The children were happy to see him, chattering around him. Dad, will you come to see us often? Mia asked. Yes, Dad will come every week. Michael picked up his daughter. I didn't disturb them, continued unpacking. At noon, I ordered pizza. The 4 of us had our first meal in our new home. The atmosphere was subtle, but harmonious. When Michael was about to leave after lunch, I saw him to the door. He hesitated, then said, Kate, I'm sorry. And thank you. Don't thank me, I said. Just live a good life for the children. You too. Michael left. I closed the door, leaned against it. This time, it was a real farewell. A farewell to the past 12 years. A farewell to the weak, dependent person I used to be. Mom, are we going to live here from now on? Leo asked. Yes, I opened my arms. This is our new home. Come here for a hug. The two children threw themselves into my embrace. The three of us hugged. I felt that this was my whole world. That night, I told them a bedtime story. New room, new bed, a new beginning. The children quickly fell asleep, smiles on their faces. I sat in the living room, opened my laptop. I registered a blog, 35 and starting over. In my first post, I wrote about my divorce, my mental journey, how I went from despair to hope. After publishing, I closed my computer, walked to the balcony. My new home's balcony wasn't big, but I could see the city lights in the distance. The night wind was cool, but my heart was warm. My phone rang. It was my mother. Katie, have you finished moving? Was it smooth? Very smooth, I said. Mom, don't worry. I'm fine. That's good. Her voice was a little choked. Katie, Mom is proud of you. I'm proud of myself, too, I said. This was the truth. After hanging up, my phone rang again. Michael. I answered, but didn't speak. Kate? His voice was so tired. You won. But I have a question for you. Did you really never love me? He asked. Were these 12 years all an act? I was silent for a long time. I did love you once. I loved you very, very much. But love can be consumed. It can be betrayed. Michael, you were the one who stopped loving first. You were the one who betrayed first. All I did was protect myself and my children. Suppressed sobs could be heard from his end. I didn't comfort him. Just listened quietly. Once, his tears would have made my heart ache. Now, they only made me feel ironic. I'm sorry, Michael said. I don't need your sorry, I said. What I need is for you to keep in touch with the children, pay child support on time, and not disturb our lives. That is your best apology. I hung up, blocked his number. From now on, we were only legally related. Other than that, we had nothing to do with each other. Back in my room, I looked at the children's rooms. The light from their small nightlight shone through the crack in the door, warm and reassuring. I gently closed the door, went back to my own room. On the nightstand were my professional certifications and work ID. Next to them, a photo frame of the children. In the photo, the three of us were smiling happily. I lay down, closed my eyes. Tomorrow was another new day. A new challenge. A new hope. But I wasn't afraid anymore. Because I knew that no matter what I encountered, I could face it. I could overcome it. Because I was no longer the stay-at-home mom who depended on her husband. I was Kate, a 35-year-old single mother, an accountant, an independent woman. This was my new identity. This was my new life. And I liked it very much. What would you have done in Kate's shoes? Have you ever had to silently plan your escape from a difficult situation? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I read every single one.